minus 7x squared plus 17 minus 15. And x minus 3 is a factor. Then find all the zeros. Okay? Zeros are just solutions, right? So we're solving. Okay? We have this guy, and I have this guy. Bless you. And it says it's a factor. Didn't mean to do that. Factor. Okay? So the first one is the yellow. Is the yellow a binomial, trinomial, or bigger than that? Bigger, right? It's got 4 terms. X third, negative 7x squared, positive 17, negative 15, right? Okay, so it's too big. We can't use trinomial, we can't use binomial. Okay? X minus 3 is a factor. What does that mean? What does it mean if x minus 3 is a factor? When we divide, we can divide, what do we get? Not 3. What happens when we divide? What happens when we divide? What does a factor mean? When we divide, what happens? What happens? What about the remainder? You're right. Something about the remainder. If it's a factor, what type of remainder is it going to have? 0. Yeah, no remainder at all. No remainder at all when we divide. Right? When we divide, if something is a factor, it goes in evenly. Okay? So that's what they're telling us. So if they're saying that, that means we need to divide. Okay? Can you use box division? Can you use synthetic division? Yes. I don't care what method you used. Okay? Most of you guys used synthetic division on the last test for these. So that's what I'm going to use. But if you use box division, will it work? Absolutely. It will work. Okay? But like most of you guys use synthetic division, that's what I'm going to use. Okay? Okay. What number goes this? What number is going to go in the house? Positive 3, right? Positive 3, not negative 3. Why? But it says negative 3 over here. Why is it going to be positive 3? You guys are right. It is positive 3. But why? Because when you set it equal to 0, you get 3 as an answer, right? 3 is the 0. When you set it equal to 0, you get 3 as an answer. Okay? It's a 0. It's one of the zeros that we're going to get. So they already give us an answer, hopefully. Okay? So now the setup. What are the numbers going to be? What order are the numbers going to be in? What goes first? What goes second? What goes third? What goes fourth? 1 first. Good.
-7.
Good. Keep going.
17 and -15.
Perfect. Thank you. Perfect. Just like that, right? And then we write a line underneath. And then you do a plus right there, right? Okay? That's the setup. Once we set it up, what's our first step going to always be? Bring the first number down. Yeah, first number takes the elevator down. And then we multiply, right? And then we multiply. All right. And then how do we get, what's the process after that? 1 times 3, right? Multiply. 3 times 1, 1 times 3 is 3. Always add straight down. -7 plus 3, -4. 3 times -4, -12. Add straight down, we get +5. Multiply 5 times 3, we get 15. Add straight down, we get 0, which we wanted to get because we wanted a remainder of 0. 3 works. 3 is an answer. We got 2 others to find. So now what did we do after this? After we did that step, we put all the x's back, right? We took them away. Now we got to put them back. So we start with 5. Does 5 get an x? X squared? 5 doesn't get anything, right? 5 is just a positive 5. The next guy is negative 4, right? That guy gets an x. And we keep going until we don't have any more numbers. X squared, the powers get bigger and bigger and bigger as they go, right? And then equals 0 because we're solving. Now it's a trinomial. Now we have something we can use. So now we can use the trinomial steps, right? When you divide something, it gets smaller. That's just how division works. So now we have this, okay? Okay, so trinomial rules. Is it in standard form? Are the powers in the correct order, or do I need to move things around? Correct order, right? GCF, is there a GCF besides 1? No. So ABC. Right. A times C. 1 times 5 is positive 5. B is negative 4. Okay, so I need to make a list of all the numbers that multiply to be 5. There's not a lot of them. What are the numbers that multiply to be 5 when we multiply? Negative 5 and negative 1. And then the positive version, right? That's it. No other numbers multiply, whole numbers I should say, multiply to be positive 5. Do any of those work? So the first one, when I add, make negative 6, right? That's close. The second one makes positive 6. So the one that when I was doing this, the one that I thought was, how about this one? Negative 5 and positive 1. That adds to make negative 4, but does it multiply to be positive 5? No. It's close. It's very, 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 very close, right? But it doesn't work. So, quadratic formula, just like we did last week. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to move this over here. So quadratic formula is on the board. Negative 1, parentheses, plus or minus, parentheses, minus 4, parentheses, parentheses, over 2 times parentheses. A, B, C all have places to go. So A is 1. So we go 1 here and 1 here. B is negative 4. Negative 4 goes here and there. C is 5, only goes one spot. Okay? Once you do that, multiply. Negative 1 times negative 4, make positive 4. Then inside the square root, negative 4 squared is negative 4 times itself. That's not negative 16. That's positive 16. Minus 4 times 1 times 5 is 20. And then on the bottom, it's just 2 times 1. 2. Okay. Next thing, subtraction. After multiplication, we do subtraction. 16 minus 20 is not 4, it's negative 4. Okay. What's the square root of negative 4? Not 2. Square root of positive 4 is 2. What's the square root of negative 4? I, 2i, right? It's imaginary. Okay? Okay. Each of them are divided by 2. Each of them are divided by 2. So 4 divided by 2 plus or minus 2I divided by 2. So last thing we're going to do is reduce if you can or divide if you can. Divide if you can. If you can't, reduce. Well, these both divide, right? 2 goes into 4 twice. 2 goes into 2, positive 1I. Okay. There's 2 answers, whereas the other one we started with, it's at the top. Make sure you bring it down. Okay. All right. All right, let's try the last one in the notes. Like I said, we're going to do one more in the notes, and then I have 2 practice problems for you to do, and then we're done. Okay? Mini practice. Okay? So number 6. So again, we have f of x. They tell us this part right here. And then find the zeros, right? Find the zeros, solve. Okay, so the first question we always ask ourselves is it a binomial or is it a trinomial or is it bigger than that? It's bigger than that, right? It's bigger, right? So we have to use division to make it smaller. We have to use division to make it smaller. That's the way we make things smaller, is by dividing. Okay? So let's set up. What number is going to go in the house? -1. Good. Not +1, it's -1. We don't have to do the switch this time. Why? Because they tell us. This means -1 is a 0, right? Equals means is. -1 is a 0. Okay? So we don't have to do the switch. All right, so here we go. Then we got 2, -14, 24, 40. Okay. First number comes straight down. First number comes straight down. Multiply. Bottom number 2 times the house, -1, -2. Add straight down. -14 plus -2, -16. -16 times -1, +16. Add straight down, you get 0, carry the 1, you get 40. Multiply 40 times -1, you get -40. No remainder like we saw. -1 is one of our answers. We got 2 more that we need. Give back the x's and x squareds and all of that stuff. So what is it going to say? What's the trinomial going to say now? What's our trinomial going to be? Yeah, 2x squared. Yeah. Minus 16x plus 40. Good. Equals 0, because we're solving. Good. Okay. It's a trinomial, so we can do trinomial steps now. Okay. Is it in descending order? Check. Is there a GCF besides 1? There is this time, right? There is a GCF. It's 2. Okay. A, B, C. A is 1, B is -8, C is 20. So multiply A times C, 20. B is negative 8. So I'm looking for all the numbers that multiply to be 20, but add to be negative 8. So you have 20 times 1, 10 times 2, 5 times 4, right? And then you have the negatives. 20, negative 20 and negative 1, negative 10 times negative 2, negative 5 times negative 4, right? I think that's it. Are any of those going to add up to be negative 8? No. Close. Negative 9. We get a negative 9 if you add the negative 5 and negative 4, but doesn't work, right? It would be nice if this guy worked. Negative 10 times 2, because then that would fit, right? But negative times a positive doesn't make a positive. So negative 10 times 2 does not work. Okay, so we go to quadratic formula. X equals negative 1 parentheses plus or minus b squared minus 4ac over 2 times a. A is 1. B is negative 8. Okay, multiply. Negative 1 times negative 8, positive 8. Negative 8 squared, 64. 4 times 1 times 20, negative 80. Subtraction, 64 minus 80. What's the square root of negative 16? 4i, right? Plus or minus 4i. Eight divided by 2 plus or minus 4i divided by 2. Divide if you can, reduce if you can't. Right, there's our answer there.